What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Bias Reviews. I am KD. Thank you so much for visiting my channel. Before we get started, let me remind you guys to like this video. Don't forget to comment down below as we give dialogue on this particular subject, and subscribe to this channel. Also, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my uploads here. So, as you can see from the title, I do want to get into my 2 cents about Auntie Mo and her dialogue and opinions about bonnets in public. So if you haven't already seen the video, it went viral pretty much last weekend. You can head over to Monique's Instagram page at Monique Worldwide and check out the video in its entirety. It's a few minutes, but I just want to expound on a couple of ideas. And once you've watched the video, you can go ahead and come back to this channel, or you've already seen the video up until this point. So from the video, what I gathered, Auntie Mo eloquently expressed her concern, right, for a negative collective consciousness. And I want to shout out Sister Zaza Ali, because I first heard that term from her. I'm just going to say that she coined that term, right, of collective consciousness. But Auntie Mo was addressing a collective consciousness that we have surrounding being sloppy in public, right? And she was met with some mixed responses. Let's check out some of the responses from Twitter. Some people agree with her. Some people, I would honestly say the majority of the people were like, no, can't get with this, did not want to hear it. So in short, I agree with Monique. And again, I just wanted to expound on her idea, or the question, when did we lose pride in representing ourselves? Because it's actually a really good question. Many of us have received a lot of this information, or this type of information, growing up, right? I was also one of the kids raised by someone in Monique's generation, probably, right? That, growing up, it was not custom to walk out the house in a bonnet. I wasn't allowed to do that. I wasn't allowed to walk out of the house in PJs. I wasn't allowed to present myself like that. So it just kind of became a normality for me. And I got hip to the magic of a beautiful head wrap really early in the game because of it. So I don't have a problem with what Monique is saying. And a lot of us, again, grew up underneath these elders in the same generation or beyond Monique. So it's not a really abstract idea what she was presenting. It's not like we haven't heard this type of thing before. She just kind of presented the idea also that you can wear what you want to wear. Like, yeah, she addressed that part. You'll just be treated as you show up. And that is a fact. And Black women especially, I feel, just know that from how we change our hairstyles so much. I'm a sister that went, natural, and then when it got locks from wearing, bundles and things like that. So that was an experience. Plus, you just never know who you're going to run into. Potential business, or a potential date, or even something cool like meeting your favorite celeb or something. You just never know. So yeah, wear what you want, but just be prepared to be addressed as you show up. Wear your bonnets and your slippers and basketball shorts. It can be understood that you're not in your norm, and you're just in and out. But it's also understood that you're unprepared. And it happens. It happens to the best of us. It's happened to me. Not often or recently, but it happens. And speaking of basketball shorts and such, let's speak on the men for a moment. Even though this conversation was totally directed towards women, but I'm noticing also in a lot of the responses that we like to insert the opposite sex to make a point. So allow me, because it's either a lot of us have amnesia, or folks were simply too young or not born yet. But there was a whole movement against urban culture and rap music, and specifically those thugs, right? And when it was a tad less common for women to be on that kind of platform and, of course, be respected as such. Like today we have Monique's and, other women who are in that space. The men were the prototype for the scrutiny at one point in time. I mean, if you just want to talk about urban culture, the baggy clothes, the do-rags, gold jewelry, etc., the Grammys, even if we want to relate this even closer to hip-hop culture or just Black people. Grammys were 31 years old before they awarded the first rap Grammy to these guys. And that was just for a performance. It would be another 7 years in 1996 before the Best Rap Album Award was established. The origins of entertainment, such as rap and film, are great ways to check the collective consciousness of the audiences that indulge in these entertainments, but we can also examine just history. Let's check out a few articles. Do-rags and sagging culture and where it comes from. There's an NPR.org article here on the history of sagging. I invite you to check it out. Even gives some reference to sagging starting in prisons and what it meant and how it just became a staple of style for urban guys. On duraggy.com discusses the origins of do-rags, and I even learned a couple of cool things here, such as the idea that do-rags were intentionally worn as a Black power symbol after a certain period of time. We can even check on what we're wearing bonnets for and what this idea even comes from. Cece's Closet has a really excellent article here about the origin of bonnets and goes on to talk about the history of them and how it was seen as something that affluent people did in Europe, but the slaves or the people who they made slaves here in America, it would denote class. Of course, it was a way for slave owners not to have to see the hair or the texture. It was a way for those working in the fields to protect their heads. And then, over time, obviously, we turned them into whatever we wanted them to be, just like a bunch of other things within our culture. So we really have to stop with the narrative or feeling that Black women are being more policed and more scrutinized for things, because I think it's just a time thing at this point. If you look far back enough, if you do enough research, you'll see that the Black man was the one at the forefront of the scrutiny, but now, I guess heavy is the crown. In conclusion here, Monique is not wrong, and many of us understand that and are just not willing to do the self-assessment. Just be sure you remember that you will be addressed how you come dressed, and that's whether you like it or not. Again, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm KD. Make sure that you all like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my uploads, and I'll check you all on the next one. Peace.